Hey Gemini, Happy New Year. This is the general tarot reading for Gemini Sun, Moon and Ascendant or Rising sign. Gemini, I just have to ask you one question. How the heck are you? Because it's been tough for you guys. Tough. Last 2.5 years, Saturn has been in your 7th house, focusing on restructuring relationships, partnerships, marriages, love affairs, the whole issue around couples. And I mean, at this point in January, you're saying, the only couple I want to see now is a couple of glasses of champagne in my hand, and I am going to drink until I forget about all the shit that happened in the last 2 years and 2.5 years, and especially over the Christmas. My God. Gemini, I'm so sorry that you've been going through all that weirdness. Oh, as a card jumps out and goes on the floor. On the floor. Kind of sums up how Gemini has been feeling. Wait till I get it. I'm going to get this for you. Love. The Knight of Cups, of course, that had to be an influence here. Your opening card had to be all about love. Tough 2.5 years. When Saturn came in, he forced you to look at how you approach relationships, and tough decisions were made. And he removed people from your life that no longer belonged, and that caused a few tears. And of all people, I don't like to see Geminis having a few tears, because you're fun, you're light, you're keen, you're interested, you give so much in relationships, you give everything, and yet you didn't quite get all the good stuff back in return. You see, Geminis go into relationships, and what they do often is they mirror the other people. If a person has a cute laugh or cute expressions, very often Gemini will adopt those in a bid to reflect all the good things about that person. They love them, so Gemini will say, these are all the things I love about you, so I'm going to give them back to you because they're so great. And then what often happens is Geminis get lost in that. They become the other person, and they become even worse again. They become the mirror to the other person. So very often, if the other person is troubled psychologically or has deep wounds, a Gemini will reflect those back to them too. And then suddenly the other person will say, you're the most evil person. How could you say that to me? How could you do this to me? That cut me deep. You're so low. You cut me. You're evil. And Gemini will say, but I've just been given back to you what you've been given me. This is what I had to hear from you. And now when I reflect that back to you, like the mirror that I am, you accuse me of being nasty. You accuse me of being evil. No, Gemini, that doesn't work. Very often when you read descriptions, even in kind of funny social media things where they say Gemini is the most evil sign. No, 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 that's not true at all. What Gemini does is they reflect back your evil. So if you see evil in a Gemini, it's not the evil of the Gemini, it's your evil that they're just boop, popping back at you. So much bullshit for you, Gemini, so much bullshit. And I think that's what you've learned over the last 2.5 years, that you have had to put up with other people's bullshit. And you're just not prepared to do that anymore. And Saturn has forced you to look at that, to re-examine your whole approach to relationships, to ask you why you don't value yourself enough, why you don't take yourself seriously enough, and why you don't believe that what you have is good enough to share? Why must you always just reflect back the best things about the other person? It's a very generous thing to do. It shows deep wisdom to be able to do that. And it comes from a deep sense of love to be able to mirror back somebody, because it means you've been paying attention, you've been watching, you've been the one who has listened to them when nobody else was listening. You got it, you got them. But no, you're the evil one because you reflected that back to them. Saturn's not going to allow you to do that anymore, because Gemini, you're funny, you're deep. Again, another thing, when you read about Geminis, they say, oh, Geminis are very superficial people. What? It couldn't be further from the truth. Gemini are the deepest people you'll find. They're the most intuitive. They will enter into a partnership or a relationship and dive so deeply into the psyche of the other person, more than a Piscean, more than a Scorpion. And they will dig up little treasures. And it's such a gift that you bring to people. But yet when you dig up one treasure, while you're down there, you start saying, I found this, what's this? And the other person will say, I didn't want you to see that, it's your fault that I feel bad now. 2 words, and excuse my language, Gemini, but fuck them. Fuck them. Because now Saturn, over the Christmas, 2 cards jumped out here. We have the 5 of Cups, again, love, not feeling so great in love. Queen of Pentacles, better. At Christmas, Saturn finally left your 7th house. And he is moving, like the Chariot, moving, into your 8th house. The next 2.5 years are going to be about deep, deep personal reflection. Delving into your own psyche with the same energy that you go into other people's psyche, diving those deep waters, plunging the depths and finding out what the hell is going on. The 9 of Swords, baby. The 8 of Swords. My love, my love. Gemini, Gemini, Gemini. They're not going to mess you up like that anymore. Saturn has seen to that. And now, like I said, in the next 2.5 years, you're going to be asking the big questions. You'll be rolling up your sleeves and saying, I've got to get down deep and dirty with my own psyche to root out all the shit from the past. I've got to find out who I really am. And once I do that and fix all the shadows in there in my own psyche, then I'll be ready. I'll be ready for more. I'll be really ready for true love, the real deal. The Hermit. I'm still shuffling here. We have a few more cards to pull in order to get the big insight, the big grand overview. So, in the next 2 years, going deep into your psyche, it's going to get hard. It's going to get scary. There's a lot of scary monsters in there. And there's a lot of things you're going to have to deal with, Gemini. In a very weird way, and there is an explanation for this that I won't get into now. Geminis very often have long-term issues with their guardians, parents, particularly their father, and how they impacted their life. For some Geminis, their father may have not been quite there for them for one reason or another, either through physical or emotional absence. Or maybe if they were there, they didn't give them the guidance that they really needed. There's always a thing with Geminis where they feel slightly displaced from where they came from. And the people who should have given them guidance didn't really give them what they needed. So in return, Geminis learn this trick of pleasing. The 6 of Swords. They learn this trick of pleasing other people. In order not to be hurt, they meet potential partners and people in their two cards here. The world, nice. Three of Cups, better, nice. See, we're coming towards our final outcome and it's looking very good, Gemini. But what I was saying was, because of the issues they have about feeling displaced, they say to themselves, I'm never going to feel like these people are, I can't let people just walk away from me like that. I can't have that moment in my life where I feel that the people I adore are closing off on me and pulling away. So I must dive deep into their psyche in order to make sure that I know exactly what's going on inside them, so that I can see the alarm or hear the alarm bells and see the patterns of hurt way before they actually happen, and maybe I can fix them. Maybe I can do something about it before they actually get to the point where they're going to hurt me. But people can't, you can't do that anymore, my darling, because people walking around in this world are full of their own shit, and it's really not what you've been asked to do. You haven't really been asked to fix their shit. You've been asked to really fix what sits inside of you. And this is the big deal for you. Now, January the 1st, cards are... I'm sorry if I'm hitting hard here, Gemini. It's not to hurt you. It's actually quite the opposite. It's to give you a heads up, because that's what Geminis always need. The heads up. They're the problem solvers. Why? Because their mind is always watching patterns. If they can solve this before everybody else, then they can smooth it over. They can fix it, and everything then will be okay. Like the child who pulls mommy and daddy together every time mommy and daddy are having a fight. They're the ones who always want to make it okay. But that's going to transform now. You don't have to keep reliving that nightmare over and over again. You can change this, and you will. The Four of Wands, beg your pardon. And your last card is the Page of Wands. I like this because this is actually a Gemini card. Let's have a look. Before I look down at the cards here, I'm just going to say, on the 1st of January, when you're making your New Year's resolutions, Gemini, you've got your full moon in your second house, which is all about value. Valuing the things that you own, your possessions, your income, your wealth. Valuing, taking solace and comfort in everything that you've built, in the foundations of your financial world, the value that you put on the things you already own. You'll get comfort from that as you enter this next tricky phase. I don't think it's going to be as tricky as it sounds for you, though. I think it'll be a blessing for you to enter these next 2.5 years and doing this heavy, hard work. But it will begin from the very start of January with these questions. Do I value myself enough? Do I put more value on other people and the things that they do? Do I put more value on that than I put on the things that I have got going on in my life? You have a lot of good things in your life, Gemini, and you're going to take comfort from those while you're fixing these few shadows. Are you okay? I don't want to be frightening you. I just want to make sure that I tell you the truth, but that after the last 2.5 years, particularly at Christmas, when it was so hard for you, my beautiful Geminis, I don't want to feel like I'm laying something down on you. What I'm offering you is information about your rebirth, your development into something far greater and far more authentic for you. Okay? Okay. Let's begin. The Knight of Cups. The love, the lover, the messenger. Well, not so much a messenger, but the bringer, the deliverer, the courier of love. What have we got going on here? We did talk about self-love, so that begins here with your journey in January. Loving yourself, feeling that passion for yourself again, not for other people and their crap. Feeling passionate about you again. That's where we begin. It's also a card of a male figure, a water sign, and that could be a Cancerian, a Scorpion, or a Piscean. They'll be very instrumental, either in a positive way or a negative way, at kick-starting your ability to love yourself again. You're going to learn lessons from them, be it good or bad. You're going to learn from this water sign. I hope it's good. However, what we have here is what we'd call the victim card, and not in a, oh, you're a victim, you're just playing the victim. In this case, Gemini, I think you have been the victim of so much bullshit and so much negativity in love that it's kind of understandable if you're feeling a bit hard done by right now. But this will pass. This is just a moment that you're leaving and smoothing out in January. You're dealing with it. And Gemini, you're good at dealing with stuff. You can deal with this. You're good at this. But it's your moment of feeling a little bit hard done by, of turning your back on the world a little bit and saying, I'm never going to love anybody again. As long as I live, I'm just going to take care of myself, and I'm not going to give my heart to anybody again. That will pass. You will give your heart again. And this water sign might be very key in bringing that to you at the start of January, okay? And in all partnerships, even with your parents, your relationship with your parents and business relationships, there is that element of you feeling that you have to close a door, that you have to turn your back on them so that you can begin your new life and start again. And don't feel bad about that. This is what's supposed to be, Gemini. This is how it's supposed to be. And you're saying, yeah, how it's supposed to. You mean I'm supposed to feel like shit? Is that true? That's how it's supposed to be? No, you're not supposed to feel like shit. You're supposed to feel this temporarily in order that you don't go into the future feeling like shit. It's a catalyst to teach you how to let the past go, how to lick your wounds for a little while, and then move on up. Move on up. And move on up where? Yeah, where do I move on up to? The Queen of Pentacles. You're moving on up. Again, there'll be a focus on your second house in January, which is all about your finances and your purpose and your self-worth. And this is you. You're moving on up into believing in yourself again, in your self-worth, in your self-value, in making your dreams come true, and in putting a price on your life, a higher price. If you are self-employed, or if you work for somebody, or if you're in a partnership with somebody, demand that you deserve more, you deserve better. And nobody can do it like the Royal Queen here, the Queen of Pentacles. She's a magnetizer. The King demands, he says, I want this, and he takes it. He just takes it. But the Queen says, let it come to me. Come on, universe. I want to feel good about myself. I want this good energy to come to me, this grounding, this feeling like, not like I'm falling apart and I'm all in my mind and it's going crazy and I'm out of control. No, grounding, feeling on solid ground. You remember the movie Gone with the Wind when Scarlett O'Hara said, Tara, I think I'll go back to Tara. She said that because she knew her strength lay in the foundations, in the things that she knows, where she gets her strength from. January is reminding you where you get your strength from your roots, your foundations, all the good things in your life, and you're going to rock that energy. Good. And the Chariot, maybe there's a Cancerian who's going to help you, somebody with a strong Cancer influence. They could help. They could remind you of your strengths. They could remind you of where you come from. Could be somebody from your past who says, Hey, forget everything that's happened in the last 2.5 years, Gemini. Come home for a little while, or come back. Let's go out for a drink. Let's go for dinner. Let's do something, and just forget about that. And let me remind you of the past. Let me remind you of the funny stories, because Cancerians are great at that. They remember every detail about the past. So they might be the good person to have around right now, their influence of reminding you where you came from. Okay? It also describes the energy of pulling all the aspects of your life together, dragging them all into one point so that you can move ahead with speed and clarity. It's more of the same thing, Gemini. Bringing all of the finer elements of your life together so that you can move ahead. Actually, what I haven't done is I'm going to move the camera down so you can actually see what the hell I'm talking about here, okay? Rather than just pulling cards up here. Wait, here we go. So let's have I'm going to show you the picture of what's happening. So what next? Mental agitation. Look at this guy. He's in his bed at night, sitting bolt upright with a sudden nightmare, holding his head in his hands going, oh my God, I can't take this anymore. I can't do this. The pain is too intense. You're driving me mad. And that's what you've been dealing with, Gemini. And that's the energy that's going to be passing out of your life from January 2018. However, the reason it's going to pass out of your life is because a sudden truth will come. Something will dawn on you, and it'll be a gift. It won't seem like a gift now, but it will be a gift. A sudden realization that maybe most of the things that are giving you all these worries, every knife that's digging into your head right now, has been caused by you not being willing to look at something as it really is. There have been truths about people. There were little red flags. You saw them and you chose to ignore them, and you placed yourself in a very dangerous situation. You left yourself wide open to be hurt. And because of that, this is the shit you have to deal with. And that's quite a beautiful thing. Again, this all comes from a beautiful place, Gemini. You're prepared to overlook the bad qualities of a person in order to continue loving them. But that's not how it should be done. With Saturn, Pluto, and then mid-January you'll have Mercury and the new moon all in your 8th house. It's saying, baby, no more lies. It's got to be the truth, and only the truth from now on, warts and all. From now on, you can't just gloss over things and be superficial in your dealings with emotions. And not your emotions, because you're not superficial, but with other people's emotions, allowing them off the hook too often. You can't do that now, baby. Gemini, my loves, from now on it's truth at all costs, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and only stand by that. If that sounds harsh, I'm not meaning to be harsh. I'm trying to explain it in a way where it's a gift. It's a gift. It's your key. It's the key through the door that you've been banging your fists against, the door that you couldn't get past, the one that lay you on the ground crying because you couldn't push through in the rest of your life. You've been given the key, and the key is truth at all costs, baby. So what's next? Again, the Hermit really says what I've just said, the truth at all costs, and you're prepared to go it alone. He is prepared to become the Hermit, to lock himself away and say, the only thing I've really got now is the truth and my belief in myself and my truth, my personal truth. And if you don't like it, everybody else, if the other people don't like it, they can swing for it, because it's all about your personal truth now, Gemini. This is the card of Virgo too. Virgo is another person who will roll up their sleeves and take care of the finer details, and you have an affinity with them because you're both Mercurial. You will roll up your sleeves and do the dirty work. do the details that need to be completed, that need to be the loose ends that need to be tied up, so that you can move on with this. And by God, move on is what you're going to do. You're turning your back again. You're turning your back and you're saying, I've no idea where I'm going, not a fucking clue what I'm doing, but I'm going. I'm out of here, and I'm going to do it with a sense of dignity. I'm not going to scream and cry like a wail, like a banshee. I'm just going to go off. Nobody will know what I'm doing. In my quiet way, I'm just going to leave. And you'll all be wondering, where'd they go? Where did Gemini go? Why are they, what's going on? Why are they leaving? And you'll say, yeah, catch you later, losers. Catch you later, because I'm out of here. And what'll happen when you leave? Ba-ba! The world. Once all of this is completed, when you face the realization that you have been part of this game, when you ignored the truths of situations, when you make that realization of everything we've just said, then your karmic cycle ends, and Saturn will have said to you, you've won. You've realized that hard lesson that I placed before you, and you've won it. You've figured it out, baby. And if anybody's going to figure anything out, the problem solver Gemini is going to figure it out. You figure out so many things for other people's life. Figure this one out for you and let it be a reality for you. Let it go and accept only the truth from now on. And what will happen once you accept the truth from now on, when you finish that karmic cycle, when the penny finally drops? Love, a celebration of love, the rejoicing, the party, the, oh my God, this is what I've been missing. It was love. It was marriage. Relationships from now on will become more serious. They won't be trivial. They won't be just kind of trickling along. They will be marriage material, real soulmate material. The people that will come into your life will start being serious contenders for the place in your heart for the rest of your life. And no more games, because very often, Gemini, you have been like Sagittarius. I have spoken to them about this too. You have allowed too many other people influence your love life, and too many people have a say in the things that happen in your love life. They can piss off too. From now on, it's only you and your true love. And all the people who have an opinion on that can go and jump. I'm going to move the camera back up again. I'm getting very cross reading your cards. I'm feeling this energy of wanting to jump in and protect you, of wanting to roll up the sleeves and say, who did this to you? Who did it? Who did it? Point them out to me, because I want to go in and I want to eat the head off. I want to go in with that big sword. They've been giving you 9 swords. I want to take those 9 swords and turn it back on them. I'm getting very defensive of you, Gemini. I don't know, because I feel that you've been put through the ringer. I won't let Gemini be put through the ringer anymore. The 4 of Wands, the final outcome. On the 31st of January, Gemini, we've got a lunar eclipse in the 3rd house. Your happy home, the house of communication, mingling, networking, meetings, getting in there and chit-chatting. And here we have a celebration, a party, some sort of festival happening in the new year, or party or concert or some big gig, some big show. So maybe somebody's getting married and you'll be invited, and it'll be the first time where you actually feel, I'm okay. I feel this new energy. So from the very last day of January, you're going to go, I get it. I get this, and I'm going with it. I feel much better in myself. And I'm going to run with it. And when you do, here we are, the messenger Gemini, you'll get a little message from somebody who are going to expose more truths. The truths aren't finished. Before January ends, you're going to learn the last few details about the shit you've put up with in the last 2.5 years from somebody. Sorry, I got cut out there, Gemini. Sorry about that. I'll just wrap this up. At this party at the end of January, you might be with somebody who has a few drinks too many, and he says, by the way, listen, I've got news for you. And they will give you the last few details on what's been happening. The truth is going to be revealed. The truth is revealed, Gemini. And once it is revealed, you're going to feel a whole lot better moving on with your 2018. Gemini, I wish you the best. I know this is going to be good. I know the next 2.5 years are going to require a little bit of work, but you know what the work is? The work is on you so that you never have to repeat that shit from the past. It's time to get down deep and dirty, baby. And let's not forget the 8th house is also about good sex. Did you forget what that felt like, Gemini? Did you forget? Time to get it on. Get your tantra back on. Get it on and feel powerful again, back in your sexual body. Get back in touch with it. You are on fire, hot, and I love it. And I'm dying to see that in you. I'm dying to watch it, because there's no better payback than stepping out sizzling hot and looking like that Lilith on fire. Payback will come. Payback will come. Payback will come, baby. Gemini, I love you so much. And I'm sending a big kiss. Actually, 2 big kisses from me to you. And I will see you next month. Please subscribe to my channel. And if you like this, please share. Talk to you next time.